Hello and welcome to Five Questions with Dr. Fein. I am Mark Fein alongside the man who the show is named after, Dr. Fein. Good to see you.
Always my pleasure.
Back and better than ever. We missed you the last one.
Well, I was attacked by a virus.
Yeah.
I thought I was impervious, but no, I wasn't.
Well, your old friend Eugene Williams, who I know you saw the podcast. He was terrific. We want to thank him again for filling in. He was great.
I thanked him once, I thank him again, and the only thing is that I can't live up to the job that he did.
He was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I
Mhm.
mean, he was
He
pretty
was.
good, but you're pretty good too. So I want to thank, I've been listening to other podcasts. I was listening before you and I started doing this. And one of the things they always do at the beginning is thank their sponsors. So I thought might as well thank our sponsor. Our sponsor is our company, United Testing Service,
That's right.
UTS. So just wanted to mention, this podcast is not done with the idea of selling UTS. It's something you and I, an idea we came up with. It's something we thought would be fun to do together to talk about education. But United Testing Service has been around for more than 50 years, tutoring, staffing. We are here to help whatever you need. So the information is right there on your screen, our website, our phone number, email address. Reach out if you think there's some way we might be able to help you. And what a perfect segue, because helping is what we are here for today. We are having our first questions from our viewers today,
I just learned the technology. It's AMA,
which is
Ask Me Anything.
ask me anything. Right. I should have known
Yes.
that. I don't know why I wasn't sure where you were
Well,
going.
you're a little behind the times.
Yeah.
I'm really more advanced technologically, I
Uh,
think.
all right. I went and did get, we have had a really appreciative of the people who have watched and, we're still trying to grow our audience, but the people who have watched have sent in some questions for us and we got 5 good ones. So we're excited to share them. I'm going to be paraphrasing these, so I'm not reading them word for word, but I'll tell you who they're from and the general question. And then we'll let you do what you do, Dr. Fine. You can answer the questions and some of these were very familiar to me, so because there's things that came up during my childhood. Okay, we're going to get to our first question, and this one comes from Mary in Las Vegas, and she wants to know, basically, is it okay to miss school for big events like travel, family travel? Like, you once took me out of school so we could go see a baseball game. My wife and I have had this conversation. She disagrees. How do you feel about missing school for major events?
The qualifying word is major. And since obviously at some point in my life I thought a baseball game was a major event that I wanted you to attend with you, that was my opinion. And all that I can give you is my opinion. And it's a decision that each parent has to make for themselves in terms of deciding what's in the child's best interest. Um, my wife and I have never hesitated to take a child out of school on what we consider to be an educational experience. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, when our little one, your sister Nikki, was in elementary school, I think maybe the fourth grade or something like that. And we had the opportunity, we were going on a cruise. We were going on a cruise to the Caribbean. We thought it'd be a great life experience for her. And one of the islands we stopped at was Curacao. And in Curacao, we went on an excursion and we went down into a bat cave and we saw stalagmites and stalactites and bats and things of that nature. And coincidentally, when Nikki got back to school, while she was away, that's what the teacher was covering. She was talking about bats and
Well, that was
from the
fortuitous.
one, well, it was, but again, experiencing something one-dimensionally in a book, if you can't experience personally, certainly better than nothing. However, if you can actually go and really see and experience in a real time, something along those lines, then I think it's beyond beneficial. Never miss an opportunity to share a life experience like that. And we're still
Um,
doing it today, even though our kids are growing up. We look,
yeah.
yeah, we try and build those events.
Just to play devil's advocate a little bit, I think the response from some people might be, "Well, you can do that in the summertime, or you can do that during spring break." And I would guess that you would say it's not something you're gonna do often where it becomes an issue where they're missing way too many days of school, but on the odd occasion, an opportunity presents itself, and it can't be done during a vacation, you're good with it.
Yep. And in addition to that, we prepare for it. In other words, we meet with the teacher beforehand. We get whatever assignments would be missed. And while we're on vacation, the homework is done. And when we get back from vacation, she turned in her work. So it's not like she's not getting the advantage of the travel without the necessary structure.
All right, let's go on to the next one. It comes from Susan in Dallas, and she's concerned about extracurricular activities and her child doing too much. He's involved in clubs at school and is also playing baseball, and she's worried this is going to affect his grades. How your overall feeling on extracurricular activities and what's appropriate?
She's worried. Someone who is very wise once told me that worry is a bill you pay that you may not owe. And so the thing I say, why worry? How are his grades? If his grades are fine and he's enjoying education and he's progressing more than satisfactorily, and he's enjoying the clubs and the social skills that he's developing there, and he's enjoying the extracurricular activities as far as whether it's baseball, soccer, singing, dancing, musical instrument, whatever. um, there's a difference in parenting. There's a thin line that I believe that parents have to walk, and that thin line is the difference between encouraging and pressuring. And if you're encouraging your child and they're responding positively, go for it. The more experiences that they can have, their character developing. They playing a team sport teaches you how to cooperate with others, responding to direction from authority figures, coaches, etc. I think that again, the parent has to know their child. If the child seems to be anxious or doesn't want to participate, or their grades are falling, then it's time to reevaluate.
All right, let's go on to the next one. This comes and boy, this one was right up our alley. I mentioned we're not doing this for advertising, but it's obviously something that we do. Katie in Arizona said that her teacher recommended that her child get tutoring. She doesn't want to have to pay for tutoring. She thinks the child's grades are fine. Why should she have to get tutoring? I'm just going to leave it at that and let you go.
She doesn't have to. She can make that value judgment. That's up to her. However, she's getting advice from an expert, the teacher, the educator. The educator is saying that she's trying to create an environment that will enable this child to succeed. And in order to help the child succeed, then the child at this point needs some extra help, more help than a teacher who has 30 plus children in her classroom can devote to that child individually. And so, again, if you, and I assure the parent wants a child to progress and to continue to grow and not to fall behind, because catching up is really, really difficult. And that puts even more pressure on a child and makes it even more difficult for them. The analogy that I use as far as tutoring is concerned is similar to a medical device, crutches. You hurt your leg, and the doctor says, "Hey, you need to take some weight off this leg for a while. We're going to give you some crutches. You're going to use them until the leg is strong enough for you to throw the crutches away and to walk on your own again." Tutoring's the same thing. We're not signing up for a lifetime tutor. What we're doing is we're saying that in this particular time in your child's life, in this particular area, your child could benefit from some help.
All right, good, perfect. And I think we did a podcast on this on tutoring, and we talked about the fact you may remember I just thought of this, the exact numbers, but basically the article and the research showed that the single best way to improve a student's chance at success was having them work in small groups, one-on-one, or I think it was at 4 or fewer with one
Yes.
instructor.
Yep.
All right, great. Okay, next one. I love this one. I don't love that it's happening for the person, but Jennifer and Prosper is having a problem with a teacher. She wants to go to the principal. Her husband doesn't want her to go to the principal. How should she handle the situation?
Well, I think she should pretend she's in the military and there's a chain of command. And the best way of getting the results that you want without alienating anyone is to take it one step at a time. First, I would approach the teacher. If the teacher doesn't respond to a phone call, send an email. If she doesn't respond to the email, send a request for a meeting with the teacher. If all of those three fail, then at that point, she has no recourse other than to go to the assistant principal or the principal and say, I'm concerned about my child. He's having difficulty. I've tried numerous times and here create a history. Show the emails. Here, I sent an email 3 weeks ago. I called 3 times. I've left messages, etc. And I really am becoming quite concerned because I know my child needs help. I need to find out how I can help him. And the only person I can get that information from is from his teacher. So please help me communicate.
Right. And even if they are responding and they're not giving you a satisfactory response, if you don't feel like the situation is being resolved to your satisfaction, that's when I know when we had problems with our kids, and my wife is a sixth grade teacher, you might have heard me say that before for people watching. Um, I learned from her very early on because as a teacher, that's the way she thought it should be handled. You go to the teacher first, and a lot of the time, you're going to resolve the problem that way. It may just be a
Yep,
miscommunication. It may be something that's happening in the classroom that the parent doesn't know about. It may be something that's happening at home that the teacher doesn't know about. But when you have that
big point.
conversation, it often gets resolved before you even have to go to the principal. So you're saving,
Yep,
not only are you doing it in what is considered the appropriate way, but you're also saving yourself a lot of time. Go to the teacher first, and oftentimes you're gonna find it resolved for yourself. If it's not
yep.
resolved to your satisfaction, then yeah, and we've had to do that on a couple of occasions, and you have to talk to the principal. All right, we are flying through these. This is an interesting one, because it hits close to home for you and I, because it's something that we dealt with personally. Jill in Las Vegas says that the school is recommending that her child repeat a grade. She's very upset about it. He's not failing, but they want him to repeat a grade. Your advice.
That's interesting because the situation with you and I was that the school did not want you to repeat a grade and your
I didn't
parents
know that.
did.
I don't remember it that way. I just knew I repeated it.
Well, that's the way you repeated a grade. First of all, you were youngest in your grade level. You're at a very high academic achieving school, which put additional pressure on. You weren't the most socially advanced
Socially
young
advanced?
boy, yes. In terms of, and for males, and not you personally, but generally speaking, for example, and I had this my own experience. When I was a senior in high school, I was 15 years old. I was going to school and with kids who were much, much
Yeah, well,
older.
that's an anomaly, though. You were 15 as a senior. This
Okay,
is
but
somebody who's
but you
age
still
appropriate.
at the time, you were the youngest in your class, and while you were passing, you really had to work very, very hard to keep up, and we thought that developmentally, academically and physically and developmentally, that you would benefit by an extra year. The school was concerned that, well, it would affect you socially and it might interfere because the other kids in your grade level would see that you were left behind. And again, um, I was pretty confident that you could handle it, and your mother was as well. And so we had to sign a waiver that it was against their advice. It had such a deleterious effect on you socially that first year in the new grade, you were elected class president. So it was
It was
it
an unusual
was not
situation, and it
something.
did happen in me at a much later age than it happens for most kids. For me, it was ninth grade.
Yes,
The one other part you left out is my parents were going through a divorce, which was a very hard thing for me emotionally. So this gave me a chance to
true.
kind of take a breath. But in general, you and I have talked about this before and my wife gets this question from friends who aren't teachers when she used to, when our friends had kids who were younger, kindergarten, first grade,
Let
second
me
grade.
Okay, let me interrupt and say, let me take the other side of this issue. When the school recommends that the child repeat a grade, the first question that I would have as a parent is, what are you going to do about the problem my child is having? And if the answer is, well, we're going to have them repeat a grade, and I'm sorry, repeating a grade without dealing with the problem is not going to solve the problem. In other words, it's just not remediation. It's not just retention without remediation. We have to remediate as well as having the time for the child to catch up. So again, it has to be part of an overall program. As a parent, what you want to do is you want to place your child into a situation that they can be successful in. And you have to decide with the information that you receive and the knowledge that you have about your child as to what effect that would have on them.
And I
Positive or negative.
think it's very part of your point too is that you don't have all the information on Jill's son in terms
Right.
of there could be a number of different reasons why they want to do this. And I would say to Jill and to anybody else, email Dr. Fein. You have seen his email on the bottom of the screen, all the way we go. If you have more details you want to share, I'm sure he'd be happy to give you some advice or at least his thoughts. I know you're always very careful to say yours is just one opinion, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I'll be glad to give you my advice. The assumption is that there's no obligation on your part to follow the advice that I give, and that you're gathering advice from a number of sources, and the decision is going to be yours based upon your value system,
And
not
and
mine.
and I one of the I was gonna put you on the spot, but I'm gonna turn the tables on you. I'm gonna do lose law today.
Okay, terrific.
Lose law today is more information is more better.
And that's more better English.
That's I thought you'd like that. Yes.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
I want
it's
that.
we're gonna have to
I
put
just
the
want it
asterisk
noted. Yes, that it's yours.
that it's mine in terms of the
Yes,
verbiage.
I like
The
it.
point though is right along the lines of what you were just talking about,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
is the more information you have, and you've taught me this, no matter what situation you're dealing with, it could be with a job, it can be with making a decision about a job, it can make a decision where you want to go to school, a decision, do you want to keep a child back a grade? The more information you
A
have, the
decision about where you'd like to have dinner tonight. The more
absolute
information you have, the better chance it's going to be a successful decision that you make.
more information, more better.
More better, much more better.
Words to live by. All right, another
Uh,
reminder. Dr. Fein and I both work with UTS. It's our company that my father started more than 50 years ago in South Florida. I know he doesn't, he started it when he was 7. He does not look that old. Are you going straight to pickleball or?
oh, today's the day off. Tomorrow morning, I'll be on the courts tomorrow morning,
uh,
wreaking havoc.
And your grandsons and I will be on the golf course this afternoon, later this
Great.
afternoon.
Have fun.
So, all right, this was great. Really appreciate the folks who wrote in and asked the questions. We will do this again in the future. As always, thanks for taking a look at 5 questions with Dr. Fine, and we'll see you next time.